And I think he brings that to dressing rooms. And if you look at him, he got a very bad rap for his time at Sunderland, but he actually did a lot of good things there. And remember, when he came in that first season, he took them right from the bottom of the Championship to promotion. And, you know, whatever people think of the guy, he's got that presence. And the players, they're really excited about it.
Yeah, and I suppose from a fan's point of view, Tony, after the Trapattoni era, I think everybody wanted Irishmen back in the job, and they've got that on the double now, haven't they?
But, like, Pat often talks about the industry, the football industry that we have or we don't have in this country, but football is a business as well as a sport. Fans want us to play in a nice style, but the most important thing is results, and I think that's what the managers will be after. But also, Keane and O'Neill as a double act is box office, so it will bring bums on seats for the Aviva Stadium. It will be good for sponsors, it'll be good for television deals, and it'll be good for football down the line, I believe.
Yeah, and Brian, in terms of the two men together, I mean, surely as a manager, you know yourself, hasn't the manager to be the ultimate power in the dressing room? We've heard many comments from the likes of Alex Ferguson of late because of the release of his book, etc., how control is all important. But could two figures of such influence divide a dressing room?
I wouldn't think so. As Richard said, I think Martin O'Neill, this is his call. If he's decided, he's a very, very intelligent man, just as Roy is, very driven, will know what he wants, and will have thought this through about the roles they're going to have. And, I mean, the adaptation is going to be for Roy to be a number 2 now. He's been the number 1 at Sunderland, been the main man at Manchester United, the captain. He was close to the manager, if you can be close to Alex, but he was number 1 at Ipswich. So now he's got to change his role a little bit and accept that he might now be the one out shouting and roaring on the touchline. If you think about Martin O'Neill and the roles he's had with Leicester, Celtic, Wickham, even back to Grantham Town, he's always been the one out front, jumping up in the air when the goal is scored. I asked people, what was John Robertson like? They didn't see him, Steve Walford. They were in the background. Martin did the interview. So is Roy going to be like that? But I'm sure he's going to have an impact on the atmosphere in the dressing room and in the messages he gives to the players. And he's always been very strong about demanding good standards and about the idea of not accepting that anyone is better than us, that we can beat anybody. So I think that's a very important influence. I think they'll blend fine. I'm not sure what the role is going to be, but I'd be comfortable that Martin O'Neill can dictate the role well for Roy and that they will work well together.
It's a gamble, I suppose, and it's an expensive gamble because this won't come cheap. I mean, the management team of Keane, O'Neill,
the last one wasn't cheap either, Tony. The one before might have been.
But it is a management team, and it's a lot of money. But the rewards are there if we qualify for the extended European Championships, and it will be worth it.
That should be a bit of a doddle now. I mean, look, there's 53 teams in it now, and Gibraltar have just got to be one of those 53. I worked around today, and there's 12 that you can dismiss straight off. So you've got to be 24 out of 40.
We have a great chance.
Come on.
There's no doubt about it.
What's important is that when we qualify, if we qualify, and hopefully we will, that we do better than the last time. I think that's going to have to be the bottom line.
Yeah, I want to look just a little bit further down the line, Pat, and how this might be of benefit to the Republic of Ireland and the FAI, because Roy Keane is coming in as an assistant. He's coming in under a very good manager. He'll obviously learn a lot about the international scene, and therefore he'll boost his chances the next time the job becomes available. Do you think that's on anybody's mind at this point, or is that looking far too far in the distance?
I'm sure it's in Roy Keane's mind, because it's certainly come from Martin O'Neill. There's no FAI involvement in the appointment. It's come from the manager himself. He's decided this will be good. It's a very smart move, because actually there's a degree to their careers where they're both been struggling a little bit recently. And how I define that if you look at the backgrounds they both come from, when Premier League jobs come up, they might be possibly in contention, especially O'Neill more so than Keane, but they're not probably going to get a job, and certainly not what a lot of people consider to be a decent Premier League job, although every Premier League gig is a good one. So, the worry that people would have is that this will be volatile, that at some stage there'll be a blow-up. But where I'd be encouraged is that both of them can't afford for it to fail. And when you've got two great personalities, and remember, international football is very, very different to club football. We talk about coaching, and it's really about tactics. It's about keeping players happy, how you handle the guys that aren't in the team, and getting results. And I think it's these two, when they walk in that dressing room, not only will they energise that stadium that hasn't really come to life since we've gone back to Lansdowne Road, the Aviva, but my goodness me, those players will look at those two and say, hey, this is serious.
Well, this is serious, and everybody hopes it succeeds. But, Richie, if you have reservations, where does your deepest reservation lie with the appointment and with the combination of Roy Keane and Martin O'Neill?
I don't think it's so much the combination of the two. It's what's been said tonight. What is Keane's role going to be?
Yeah.
It's not going to be a coaching role. What O'Neill demands from him, or what Keane himself provides for the players, I'm unsure yet as to what that would be. Because of all the things we know about Keane, as Brian said, he's been the main man everywhere. Everywhere he goes, and even now in discussions, he's the main man.
Yeah,
you can call him business and call him number two. Everywhere, everywhere he's been. And it's with the squad, and O'Neill will have to get used to the fact that anyone talks about the Irish team from now on, they're talking about Roy.
Well,
So
that's probably what's going to happen. And one thing is for certain, the level of interest. All things related to our international team will